How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another World of Tanks video. Today we're going to be doing another tank review, and this time on the M48 Patton. Let's get straight into this. The M48 Patton is one of the oldest tanks in the game, and it's basically a jack-of-all-trades tank. It's not the best at anything, it's just kind of good at everything. Straight away I'm going to say this is one of my favourite tanks in the game, probably my favourite at the moment. I mean, sure, I got the 430U, but I'd rather play the Patton over it just because of the gun depression, a bit more, it's just a bit more flexible. So straight away, the best comparison for this tank is probably the Centurion Action 10. And if we go into the actual comparison here, you'll see I've got all the others loaded in, so you can just see how it stacks up against the rest of them that are kind of similar. But as you can see, the Centurion Action 10 is pretty much identical, nearly. The Patton does have a slightly faster reload time, which is very nice, although it's not too much of a difference. You can get this down to about 6.3 seconds, and that will be about 6.5 for the Centurion Action 10, depending on if you're using improved equipment and whatnot. Straight away, you'll see that the Patton has the best view range of any medium tank in the game, and it's actually matched with the light tanks. It's the highest base view range that you can get in the game. Even if you choose the Rheinmetall Panzerwagen or the Sheridan, they're both on 420. So this has kind of light tank view range, which is pretty mental. Having said that, it's not a very fast tank, so you're not going to get anywhere like too quickly, as it does only have a 45 km/h top speed. Adding to that even more is that it's only got 16.97 for the actual power to weight ratio. So what's the gun like on it? We know that it's got a fast reload time, but how does it stack up to the rest of the tanks? Well, it's pretty much the exact same gun as Centurion Action 10, the only difference being that the Patton, as I've said, does have a faster reload, but the Patton also has a worse dispersion ratio. It has 0.35, whereas the Centurion Action 10 will have 0.31, and that is only going to go down as you add vents, equipment, whatnot onto it. All of these don't have anything added to them, as you can see. Configuration, they're all the same like this. Overall, I mean, it kind of does balance that out, the factor, because if this did have, you know, as good dispersion, then, you know, the gun would just be insane. Having said that, it does not really feel like 0.35 when you are firing at enemies. Sure, some shots are going to miss, but no more than what I would think usually. As for penetration, well, you got 268, the same as the Centurion Action 10. The Leopard one has 278, so you're never going to best that. But, I mean, apart from the E50M, which only has 2 more pen, which isn't really going to make much of a difference, you're better than all the Russian tanks. So yeah, the only downside is that, you know, it's not the 420 alpha or the 440 alpha like you do have with the Object 430U and the Leopard one. It is only 390, but then you do get a nice reload time with that. Armour wise, you're looking at roughly the same again between these two tanks. Both of them have very similar stats: 250 on the turret, 120, 152 on the hull, but I will say that you're going to bounce a lot more shots than you would in the Centurion Action 10, and if you actually preview the tank, you'll see why. As you can see, the tank isn't really, you know, it's not built in the way that it's meant to bounce shots. You get overmatched here quite a fair bit between if you have a high caliber gun shooting at you, and I mean the cupola isn't too bad compared to, you know, the M48 Patton. If we have a look at that, I mean, sure, it's a bit fatter, but I mean, I'd rather have the Centurion Action 10 cupola on there. But having said that, I mean, look at the whole armor difference. It's a lot more rounded. So you're going to be bouncing shots from lower tiers all the time, unless they obviously go for your lower plate and stuff like that, or cupola. It's quite a nice tank to try and bully the low tiers. Tier 8s, you know, they're going to have to load the gold to try and go through you. Tier 10s can just load gold and go straight for your turret. But you know, what are you going to do? Tier 10 games, they're going to load gold regardless. But no, so the armor wise is actually pretty decent. I think that's quite enough time spent in the garage. Let's now have a look at the battle. Alright, so here we are on Fjords, and we're obviously in the M48 Patton. Straight away you'll see that this is a tier 10 only game, so this isn't really the best matchup for the tank, but you know, it's not too bad, all things considered. I do like tier 10s for the fact that, you know, you're not going to get higher tiers matched up against you, and you know, once you're at tier 10 you can really start to learn how to play the game and learn about the different tanks, the different weak spots, because you know, you're going to be facing the same tanks most of the time from now on once you hit tier 10. But straight away, I like to play this map a little bit aggressively. Even if I start on whichever side, I'm always wanting to go into the middle bit and try and put the pressure on the enemy in the mid. Also, the fact that you can actually have your team up on the hill to the northeast there, you can actually shoot down on the enemy that are trying to push up into this middle part of the map. And if you've got a nice hold down tank like this, then you can, you know, really bully the enemy and try and push them back. So we're going to go up this hill, and as you can see, the poor mobility. It's not very fast up a hill. This is only, I mean, sure, it's a little bit steep, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Spot the STRV, put a shot into him. Now, I don't really want to get shot by this leopard, and I'm trying to bounce him. We do, as you can see by the armor. It's a nice whole package. This tank. Watch this shot. Whew. And I was quite surprised myself that I hit that, to be honest. Some of the shots in this game are a bit strange how I hit them. But no, so we fire one into the mouse and we don't pen him, and straight away I'm going to load heat against him, because he has, you know, if he's angling a little bit, then he's going to have like over 300mm of armor. And the heat rounds in this tank is something that I didn't mention. But most of the tier 10s mediums will have heat as their secondary, but he obviously doesn't lose penetration over distance, sorry. But this actually has 330, much the same as the other Russian tier 10 mediums, but apart from the 430U, obviously that has 340. So, you know, the 330 heat is really nice to have when you come up against, you know, these heavily armoured tanks. And as you can see, this mouse has made a massive misplay. I don't know why he took a mouse down into the river area. So yeah, we're just going to quickly farm him up. He's obviously taking shots from the EBR as well. And I'm not too sure what this Progetto's doing. I guess he doesn't want to get shot again, because he is quite low on health. But as you can see, it's just a pure farm right now. Just farming up the mouse. And there's not really much he can do. Hopefully we can finish him off now. There we go. And now we can move on with the rest of the battle. So loading back the APCR, because we don't need to fire heat anymore. I was a bit worried about the Jagdpanzer E100 coming through there. You know, because the mouse done it, so, you know, why not have the Jagdpanzer come through as well? But no, he stayed there, luckily. Otherwise this might have been a very different game. As you can see, the Object 140 then pushed me there, so I was actually quite lucky that I evaded when I did. I didn't know that he was coming, and this EBR is obviously trying to get this T100 LT, which he secures, and now I just want to try and shoot and spot as many people as possible. Because obviously it does have a great view range. I mean, when I've got food, you know, coated optics, or I don't even have coated optics in this tank actually. I actually use full improved equipment, so I use vert stabs, gun rammer and vents. Because I got the vents and gun rammer from the home front when that was on, and I got my vents when I actually got given bonds for being a player for 5 years or something, or 6 years. I can't remember how long it is. But, I mean, look at that shot. You know, the dispersion doesn't really matter as long as you have like vert stabs on it. So, you know, compared to the Centurion Action 10, you can get away with not having vert stabs and putting coated optics on it, because you do have that better dispersion. But with this tank, if you put vert stabs on it, then, you know, you're going to be good to go. And at the same time, you're going to have roughly the same view range, even though that you're not going to have it. So it's kind of a win-win. But yeah, you just see why I love this tank so much. I mean, we're up to 5.3k damage now already, and it's just been an easy game at the moment. You know, no one's really contested us. We've played this quite smart. We've used the cover to our advantage. Only shot at targets, so, you know, we're not rushing in. We're just playing this nice and slow, making sure that we actually, you know, finish off the enemies that we can. Right now, I was wiggling my mouse trying to find an outline, but I think the rock's a bit bigger than I actually anticipated there. It looks like I'm a bit angry. So we just finished off the AMX. I'm not too sure what he was still doing, sitting there. And then feels bad for the Progetto. But now obviously there's one tank remaining, and we need to go and try and find him. I did want to try and get to 6k, and as you can see I'm really close. And I also wanted to try and get 5 kills. So we're gonna just, you know, we're gonna trundle away, and because you don't really get anywhere fast in this tank. I mean, sure, it's faster than a heavy tank, or, you know, compared to the Jagdpanzer. But it's not exactly the fastest medium. And as you can see, we found the Object 268. Now, I want to try and find a shot, but it's not happening. So we're going to move around, see whether or not he's going to move back or not, so I can actually put a shot in. And this is the point where I realise, I need to actually go forwards a bit more, and I nearly go into the lake. Yeah, that wasn't the best of moves by me. But I'm thinking, okay, well, he's not there. Can I have a shot through here? And if you actually look, that is the exact amount I have left to shoot. So yeah, that was pretty mental how we dealt with him. As you can see, obviously mastery badge. We got 80k credits, 6,000 odd XP, and I think I did complete a mission to get the extra bonds, so we got 42 in total, which is actually quite a lot. On to the next bit. We did get 6k damage, good job, but we did lose credits, as you know, making credits in tier 10 is quite hard, even with a premium account, and obviously we did fire a lot of heat. Having said that, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, sub if you did, and also join the Discord, because that's the best way to keep in touch and stuff like that. So, I'll see you in a bit.